So today we're going to talk about the course structure for CPA, the academic structure, and whether you are figuring out what to do and you've stumbled upon CPA, or you know somebody who's recommended it to you and you don't know how CPA works, or you're a chartered accountant and you want to upgrade by adding CPA to your qualification and you need to understand the differences between CA and CPA. This video is for you. So first, the paper structure, right? A CPA has 4 exams. First is FAR, which is Financial Accounting and Reporting. Second is Audit. Third is BEC, which is Business Environment Concepts. And the fourth one is Regulations. FAR is essentially accounting, which contains US GAAP and IFRS accounting standards. Second is auditing. Auditing is the same, which is taught in any chartered accounting course, which is understanding if the financial statements present a true and fair view of the company. Third is BEC. Business Environment Concept is a little different paper compared to maybe CA, where in this there is an element of business plus financial management and management accounting. And last is regulation. Regulation teaches us US taxes and US law. That's it, 4 exams. Second, coming to the exam duration. Right? Now, on an average, it depends on your speed, first of all. So you can complete it quickly within 6 months, or you can take a year and a half, 2 years. On an average, we've seen comfortably candidates finishing it around within a year. This is taking into account the fact that you must be working or you must be studying something else. Coming to the exam window. By exam window, I mean when are we able to appear for the exams? So CPA, you can give the exams, so they are on-demand exams, which means you can give them throughout the year. Right. The only point is that when you decide to give it, you need to book a slot a little in advance, and on an average, it takes a month. So for example, if you want to appear for the exam today, but you've not booked it, you can't just book it today and you'll be able to appear for it today or tomorrow. It will take you approximately a month. So keep that in mind. On an average, what happens is candidates appear, they study for one paper between 2 to 3 months, give the exam by the end of the 3rd month. So on an average, one paper from the time you start studying to the time you appear is around 3 months, and you do that for 4 papers. You can give multiple papers, together, but this used to be very common when the exams were only held in US or Dubai for Indian students, when they had to fly there. So when they would fly there, they would say, okay, if I'm going to the States, let me just give all the exams at once. So then they would study for all papers and give all of them. But since the pandemic, India centers have opened up exam centers for CPA, and that gives us the advantage that you can appear for one, focus on it, clear the paper, and then move on to the next one. That's the way we would recommend. Next is the paper pattern. All the papers actually are all objective, right? Whether 50% multiple choice question and 50% simulation case studies. Simulations would give you a small case scenario, and you still have to choose from multiple choices for all the papers. Only BC has a small differentiation for around 15% of the paper, but the rest of them are all objective. And lastly, the passing rate. The CPA exams across the world have a decently high passing rate compared to at least Indian CA, right? On an average, you can say that the passing rate across the world is more than 50%. Here, because of course there's focused training, we have a passing rate of more than 75% at Zell. Across, luckily for us, all our courses of CPA or CFA or ACCA, but having an average passing rate of more than 50% for a CPA qualification is actually quite decent. So that's the passing rate. And last point is the passing mark. Now what that means is, in India, right, if you have an exam which you're giving on 100 marks, you would require, let's say, 35 or 40 or 50 marks to pass the exam. So if it's 50, that means you need to score 50 on 100 to pass. In CPA, there's no such thing. It's the CPA exams they're all on percentile basis, and you need to score 75 percentile or higher to pass. So now if you don't understand what that means, don't get into it. It becomes more complex. Any which ways, your goal should be to study as much as you can, score as much as you can. And if you guys study with that objective, you by default end up clearing the exam.